Go. Well, yeah. All right, everybody. We're live. It is the Real Estate Morning News Show, and I've got my friends in the house, and we're going to talk all things real estate, everything that's impacting, because, you can't do anything in the real estate world without checking in with us first. I'm just saying. You got to know.
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing. You got to know what's happening.
Stay in bed until you've spoken to us. Yeah.
This news show does not constitute financial advice.
It constitutes nothing.
Yeah, just like
A disclaimer right
Just to be
now.
clear.
Let's just have that disclaimer.
We're not lawyers, none of us, but we play one on TV. Here we go. All right, that's it. That's it. All right, I'll let my friends introduce themselves. Ladies first, and I'm still going to call you Lady Chris.
I know. I can't break that habit. Just don't call me ma'am. Then I have to
I
come.
know. I
Yeah.
won't do it to you. All right.
Chris Kimbrough, president of SKBM Smart Technology. We are a one-stop shop for prop tech in multifamily. So if you need prop tech in multifamily, please give me a ring. I love to talk, as you'll see here shortly.
For sure. And Deanie, how are you, sir?
Taylor, CEO at Landmark Healthcare Facilities. We develop outpatient medical buildings all over the U.S.
Welcome. And from across the pond, Mr. Sheedy. How are you, sir?
I'm very good. So I'm Paul Sheedy, founder, CEO of Unified. Again, another prop tech company, very like Chris. We do different stuff, but it's all wonderful. And I'm sure myself and Chris will be working very closely together, even making the world a better place.
That's exactly.
Of course, we're making the world a better place. All right, we're gonna talk housing today. We're gonna talk office buildings, and we're gonna talk medical office buildings, because did you know office buildings and medical office market doesn't correlate at all? Like, yeah, they just got office in the same name, but as Deanie would tell you, it ain't nowhere near the same market at all. So it's pretty funny. But let's kick it off with housing, because this impacts multifamily. I think the news from the housing world is that basically nothing's selling. There's a very few that there's drops in home sales. Nothing's being built. Like the home builder index is like still a negative. It's like at a 32 or something. So what do we think about the housing market? The OBBB, whatever, the B's, the act, whatever you call it, the one big, beautiful bill, is trying to spur on more housing development, especially on the affordable side. But what does the housing market mean? And then we'll get into your UK story, but just want to throw it out to the masses. Chris, I mean, for multifamily, it's great. Nobody's buying any houses.
Oh, for multifamily, it's fantastic. Yeah. Nobody's buying houses. They're renting, which is, is fantastic for our business. I will say, I'm making the world a better place, one apartment unit at a time. No, I mean, honestly, I looked at this topic, Amy, and I'm like, well, I've got to think of something to say. But
I know. Yeah. How does it? So, yeah, I mean, so as far as the builds or the multifamily builds, that's not slowing down. I mean, I still see we're having multifamily starts, right? You're doing a lot of greenfield projects.
We are doing a ton of greenfield. Like, historically, we've done mostly retrofits. Now it is all greenfield. It is just because and it's great for us because the greenfield projects put in so much tech.
Yeah.
So, as they bring these things out of the ground. So, there's, I think, projected at the beginning of the year were like 475,000 new units. I think that they've come off that number just a little bit. But there are just a tremendous number of starts this year. I mean, we're going to start. I was just talking to our COO a couple of days ago, and like our new dev pipeline is really robust. We're going to start doing pre-wiring into this year, and then next year is just all greenfield projects to date. There's just, it's weird. I'm working on a project to like try to be like a tip of the spear kind of prop tech for retrofits. It's just
Did we lose her?
there's like one company whose name I won't mention. What?
We're losing you. You're going in and out. I'm not sure what's happening.
You're back again.
You're back.
Okay. Yeah, there's also something wrong with my Wi-Fi the last 2 days. Thank you, AT&T. No. Yeah, we're creating a product that's tip of the spear for prop tech, trying to get people to invest in it on a smaller scale, not full smart home. Because we do want to get the tech out there. There is a benefit. Am I breaking up?
No, you're still good now. So you're good. So, and is it just like a smaller use case, or what is it? What are you trying to do?
Yeah, it's around risk management.
Just great.
So, yeah, so it's around risk management. It's only a couple of devices that are lower cost. We have a larger play that I'm not allowed to disclose right now. I'll tell you on the QT, Amy. But yeah, I can't. We're not making it public. We don't want anybody stealing the idea. It's really our CEO came up with it. It's an awesome idea. Paul knows about it. So, but yeah, no. Because
you're not in the circle yet, Amy.
The number of
Go on, carry on.
Yeah, cool. No. So yeah, no. It's
so the number
robots.
of yes, exactly. Robot overlords are taking everything over. But so typically
robust.
Yes, robust. Sorry. So typically multifamily units, the average number is between 400 and 450,000 units or starts usually a year. So now we're at 475. So that's good news. We're getting more units built. How are they pricing? I mean, it has to be all luxury, right? I mean, how are they building it with the price? It's not?
It's not all luxury. I would say we're doing mostly class A, but I wouldn't call it all luxury at all. Yeah. But it doesn't, I mean, when it's greenfield, I mean, they're just, in terms of tech, they're just putting it in because it's, it's much cheaper to do it on the front end than to do it later, unless they value engineer it out at some point. Yeah. So always possible. Yeah. But it's just, why put in a keyed door lock when you can put in a mobile activated door lock? Just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So no, I know. I'm with you. Especially now since they can depreciate it all. The tech, they can depreciate all that tech.
Exactly. I know. I've been passing that information around. Paul, I think that was you that shared that.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, thank you for that because I have been spreading that story far and wide.
For sure. So Danny, when housing is in a slump, I mean, y'all, when you're sourcing medical office buildings or sourcing sites or choosing sites, it's near. Does the housing market play any into that at all? Do you know, Deanie? Well, of course you would know.
We watch it because it's all about the amount of population and the age of the population that makes a difference. And so, and most health systems are doing the same thing because they're trying to have presence where the population's growing. They don't want to build new hospitals, but they need outpatient medical buildings. So yeah, we watch that. The challenge, and maybe it's not happening in multifamily, but the challenge on construction costs on the medical side is just hospitals are about the only ones that can afford rent in new buildings.
Yeah.
Independent physicians, what few there are in many markets, really can't afford it. So we look to the hospital to decide, is this a market they're either trying to protect or grow? And it ties more to housing and population growth than it does to retail. I mean, just because a big retail center goes up, that it really doesn't drive a medical need, but the housing does. And then we just got to find the right location.
interesting. So, so the baby boomers are the folks that are staying at home. They're not selling anything right now because it doesn't make any sense. Let's take for case, and I always use my poor dad. My dad is the butt of a lot of my jokes plus a lot of my examples. So my dad's 82, and he's staying in his house in Houston, Texas. Because he's got really great paper. Like it's like a cheap loan. And for him to go buy or downsize or do anything else, it doesn't make a lick of sense. And so, and he's still mobile, but he doesn't want to, he wants to be kind of in like one of those independent living facilities or whatever it might be, but he doesn't want to move. Right. Because he's on a fixed income. So he doesn't want to move. So are we seeing any of that? I mean, are y'all seeing any of that?
But I mean, I don't know. I think that, my personal experience, and let's not talk about my mother, but she moved into assisted living last year because she didn't have a choice. Right. And so I'm wondering how much more we're going to see of that, where, I mean, your dad's 82. My grandma lived to be 99 and lived alone at home until she was moved into hospice. So,
okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are those out there that can tough it out, but like, I'm wondering if we're going to see more development of these senior living facilities as the boomers, reach the point where they can stay home.
Yeah.
We will, and what we'll also see is a cost of that being so high that you kiss goodbye to your inheritance because they'll suck the whole lot out.
Don't get me started on that, Paul.
Yeah. I mean, I got friends who expected to get a nice inheritance, and the costs are astronomical here. They're like maybe £2,000 a week, and boom, you just see it go.
Yeah.
And as I said before, jokingly in the past, as someone said to me back in the 90s, Paul, my dear man, we're not living longer. We're just taking too long to die. And it's very good for these old care homes because they are literally going to suck the. I mean, my whole view is that because we're moving into rental has become the big thing. It's really the likes of Brookfield and Vanguard, etc., who are behind all this, and their issue and their whole plan is never own anything. Just suck all the rent and maximize the rent as much as possible, and we'll never actually ever inherit no one will inherit anything in decades to come.
I was waiting for when there's going to be a conspiracy theory, Paul. I've been waiting this whole show.
The conspiracy is these corporations will own your assets and they'll milk you dry.
Yeah.
Now wait a minute, Paul. Paul, wait a minute. Rent is a good thing.
Rent is
a good thing.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, if you want to use Medicare or Medicaid rather to, if you want to go into like some state-run home or something, you can't have any assets.
That's
right?
True.
You've got to blow through everything.
It's the same in the UK.
Yeah.
I think you're allowed to have maybe it's either 22 or 44,000 pounds, something like that. That's as much you're allowed to have. Otherwise, that's it. They take everything. And I've seen a lot of people who really thought they were going to have a lovely inheritance, and their parents took too long to die, and all the money's gone.
I'm going to tell my brother that.
Enough for a coffin around the drinks at the wake.
Yeah.
For someone that's getting older, I want to spend it. There's no reason.
I'm not getting older.
Worry about it.
Why are you getting older, Denny?
Inheritance. They
I know,
take care of themselves.
I know, right? Why do we have to give an inheritance to our children?
Exactly.
We taught them how to be
Let's
adults.
spend it.
Exactly. That's what we're going to do. We're going to spend it all and go to like France and Portugal. And
Yeah, but the thing is, I have my mom's will, and I don't get anything anyway. It goes to my daughter and to my brother's daughter. So it's not even cutting me out of an inheritance at $7,000 a month plus. It's cutting my child and my niece out of an inheritance, but they need it more than I do.
Well, hopefully they, as they grow up, I don't know. I think it's kind of an interesting thing, but I remember when we're on the senior housing thing, we're going to talk about it. My mom, I was trying to get her, and I kept thinking and this is not how senior housing works, But I was like, well, my mom doesn't make, because I looked at the price of how much it would cost for her, and she had a pension and she had Social Security and all this other stuff, and she had a thing, right? But they were like, so I was like, well, she doesn't make 3 times the rent. Like, I'm thinking multifamily. In senior housing, they don't care. There is no 3 times the rent. It's like, can you pay the rent? Like there is.
Yeah, no, you have to provide like a tremendous amount of financial documentation to them. They have to know what all your assets are, everything,
Yeah.
before they'll take you in. And then
Right.
with my grandmother, speaking of pensions, she had my grandfather's World War II pension, put her over the threshold for Medicaid.
Oh, yeah. So for Medicaid, but on the regular independent living, they don't, if you're not doing like Medicaid, independent living, they're just like, can you pay the rent? That's it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We're not going to do 3 times. I was like going, oh, okay. Well, that helps.
And they will, once you're there, they'll do anything to keep you there too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. All right. How did we get on this kick, by the way? We did. We got on this.
Amy.
All right, I know it's all my fault. All right, so let's talk about what's happening in the UK with the property tax thing. Did you see that article?
Yeah, I find
what
that
the
strange.
world? Isn't that strange? So in the UK, the article says that they're going to tax people whose home values are over £500 or something. 500,000.
500,000.
500,000.
Everything in London, pretty much. Yeah, I mean
the whole thing, the whole city is going to be taxed. Like, why? I don't understand. Like what?
Why? Because fundamental, and this is my issue with us moving to renting. Okay, so it's all short-term thinking, and that's what annoys me about where we're going. And no government has the backbone to say actually this is fundamentally wrong. You can't buy. I mean, I look now and you realize the vast majority of the younger generation cannot buy. They don't even aspire to buy. It's out of reach. The longer term issue of that is we're having less children right now. Okay, so right now we pay a thing called national insurance. We pay it every week. It pays for the people who are on the pension now. As we get older and we live longer, the next generation, 1, don't own any assets. 2, the tax burden to keep us all, because we're all going to live too long, is it's going to be crazy. No one's thinking longer term. And the issue I have with going to renting is, unless you own your asset and it's going up in value, et cetera, when you get to the retirement age and you then get sick, whatever, in your 70s, 80s, whatever, that asset can then pay for that stuff, and then they can leave something on. If you're renting, not only are you paying for the pension, you're going to have to pay for the rent of that old person as well. It's just these governments, Western governments, are not thinking long-term about the impact of where we're going. It is not good. I've already made my plans. I'm heading off to Asia when I get old. Goodbye, West.
Where
But I just
where are you
really
going? Thailand, Philippines? Where are you going?
maybe Vietnam, maybe
Vietnam?
place like that. Yeah. I enjoy that.
Yeah.
But look, let's not deviate. So the issue here is when we first came up with pensions in the 50s, 60s, you were expected to live 3.5 years post. The average person lived 3.5 years post retirement. That isn't happening anymore. We're living
3.5.
decades.
Did you just say 3
Yeah,
and a half?
yeah.
They only, that was like the best pension ever. Like, really, they only expected you to live 3.5 years and then you were done, and then they paid it.
On average, that's what you do. So a lot of people wouldn't make it to 65. The average age back then there was about 68.5, and that's the way, and that worked. That equation of putting away a little bit every single year, that proportionality worked. It doesn't work anymore. And also back then, let's face facts, we didn't have the medical facilities that Denny Taylor and all the rest have now. We didn't have all these cures that cost a fortune. We didn't have all these medicines. That's the problem now. We're taking way too long to die. It costs a lot of money to keep us in medical solutions, and the equation doesn't work. And the sooner the Western governments wake up rapidly and say this is a big fat problem, and it doesn't matter whether it's the Republicans or the Democrats, the Conservatives or the Labour Party, it's going to be here in 10 years and 20 years and 30 years and 40 years, and we've got to start making big fundamental changes about that, the better, because they're not willing to do it. It's just
No, I don't know what the solution is either. You're not going to say, let's just start killing people. Like, that's not going to work. So we got to.
No. What I do think is if they should be getting people to buy assets. They should be doing whatever they can to get the price proportionality between salaries and, low salary, lowest home, medium salary,
Yeah.
medium. You should be able to do that 3.5 times, 3 times, 4 times salary. Proportionality has got to stay as a fundamental in all of these economies, and
Yeah.
that's what's broken. That fundamental thing is the cause of all of the issues.
Yeah, no, I know. I will say, if I'm going to promote the U.S. PropTech Council, we are doing a housing affordability initiative. We are doing that, and we're working with a lot of folks. NMHC is one, Related Affordable, NHP Foundation. We just started that, so it's one of the initiatives of the council. So we will be talking about, but it's really kind of focused on how can technology solve the housing affordability crisis, right? What can we do from a technology perspective? So we are kicking that off. So that is a little plug for the PropTech Council. And I'll take a second to do a commercial. If you're not part of the PropTech Council, well, you should be, because all these people on the thing are part of the council. So because we're cool like that. All right, Deanie. So let's talk about medical office buildings. Apparently, y'all are still the darling and still doing really well. Y'all are still killing it with your vacancies have decreased. Like, you're still doing really well. No wonder you got in the medical office space, man. No wonder you did. Well, it's not like you were very far. You're building hospitals and medical office buildings anyway. But so, what's happening in your world?
Well, you're right. I mean, occupancy continues to go up, and I think part of that is the lack of new buildings, the lack of new medical buildings,
Mhm.
and then the other is the medical buildings that are being built are so expensive that it still makes sense to stay in the existing buildings and pay the 3%, 2.5%, 3.5% rental increases. So,
Yeah.
and the other thing is, the basic premise of providers is they want to stay where they are located. Their reimbursement is tied to an address. It can be slow to catch up if they move. I mean, there are all these reasons that a medical provider, a health provider, wants to stay where they are, and then they run the numbers to see if they can afford it.
That is
So we're
sticky
fortunate in that
tenant.
way.
Are you kidding me? That is super sticky tenant. No, that would. Why am I not building medical office buildings?
Well,
Really?
you should have been smarter at Purdue. You would have
I
figured that
know. I know. What am I doing? Like, oh, that's crazy. I did not know that their reimbursements were tied to an
out.
address.
Yeah, I mean, it can be 3 to 4 months when a physician moves from one location to the next and has to change address. It can be 3 to 4 months to catch up on the reimbursement checks, and because everything's tied to an address. And then you just start all over with the approval process to be a provider in that insurance plan. And it is not fun to change an address if you're a health provider.
What an archaic system.
Oh no, it's great. It's great. It's
That's so funny. Yes, it's great to be a medical office building landlord. Look at that. No, that's awesome.
Oh, that's
yeah.
incredible.
That is crazy town. I had no earthly idea. So obviously then, so the occupancy is increasing because it's a supply problem.
less supply. There's
But
clearly
is the
less
supply
development.
problem causing any, like, are there any problems?
Well,
Yeah.
when you say problems, I mean, high occupancy is not a problem.
No. But are there needs not being met because we can't build stuff?
Yeah,
fast
there
enough,
are,
you think?
and that's what I was talking about. Where there is a need, it's typically the hospital that is going to be the tenant, not independent physicians, because new buildings where there's a need are so expensive that rent is expensive, and hospitals are the ones that can afford it, not independent physicians. And so that's the challenge, and that's one more reason physicians consider being employed by the hospital, and then the hospital puts them in whatever location makes sense.
Interesting. So are all your developments now with hospital partners? Are you still seeing, is it market dependent or is it nationwide?
Let me put it in perspective. All the ones that are going to start construction between now and first quarter are 100% leased by hospitals on master leases for at least 15 years. And they're the only ones that can afford it.
Yeah. Okay. I got you. Yeah. Answer. That's answered. Okay. So, so then are you seeing any sort of relief from, on the tariff side, or is it still pretty much the same? I don't know where the hell it's at. They just came in August 1st, and I can't keep up with the tariffs. Like, what's happening there?
The way we do it on the tariffs, and it's the only way right now that I know to do it, is it's about a 1% to 2% overall increase in construction costs. And the way that breaks down is, even though we can do guaranteed maximum price, GMPs, the line item that is affected by a tariff will have a contingency. And if they can prove, the supplier, that the price went up due to a tariff that was implemented after the contract, they'll get the money. If they can't prove it, we don't pay the increase. And that's the way most developers are working through this.
Interesting. That's crazy. Chris, on the tech side, and Paul, on the tech side, are you seeing delays or price increases? Where how much is it impacting for y'all?
Price increase in what? In deploying the tech?
On your tech, on deploying the tech. Yeah.
No, I hate to say this to you, Amy, but my costs have dropped dramatically.
Oh,
because we had to stop using. We had to stop actually using our main American supplier.
Oh, okay. So, are you doing deployments in the U.S. or
because of tariffs?
Oh yeah. So you dropped them.
We will
be,
yeah. But we're doing deployments everywhere. We're doing deployments all over the world. So the problem is with 145% tariffs. I was like, that's not my business plan.
But
so
you help
we
us
had to
when
make
you
a
do
decision
that.
there and
You
then.
help us.
Really?
Yeah, it's because this is about altruism and not making money.
Oh God, I sit here going, I know, let's not talk about
we're gonna get there. Okay, so you stop. You don't use your American supplier anymore. So you've got one probably.
That's after 12 years. I mean, Amy, that's 12 years loyalty to my American supplier. 12 years, and the whole business plan went up to Swanee. Because already it was expensive. Look, it wasn't expensive. It was very expensive. It was very good, but it was very expensive. But with 145% tariffs, it's like we can't carry on.
Okay, so what I'm trying to understand, so the American supplier was exporting to you, or they were importing your stuff?
We're exporting directly in. We're supplying directly into all over Asia.
Oh, I see. So I didn't realize.
Then so the tariffs go line go down.
Oh, so because we implemented tariffs, the other countries also implemented tariffs, and so then we got the backlash where
So then I went to find alternative suppliers, and my costs dropped by 74%.
Oh wow!
Not bad.
Yeah, I do the same.
Nobody saw that coming. What?
But
There were retaliatory tariffs?
Wait a minute. We need to be careful. This is being recorded.
I know.
I'll have the feds at my front door.
Okay. I'm over here. I'm not afraid to take a bullet. So what I was going to say, I mean, the big issue we see, which we don't see, I mean, around the world, we're all looking at these tariffs going, yeah, but hang on. If you're imposing all these tariffs on all these countries in America, then your costs are going to go up. If your costs go up, inflation stays high, interest rates stay high. You're 6% interest rates now in the US, is that right? 6.1, is that right?
6.1 for what?
What's your interest rates at the moment?
Your Fed rate. Yeah, it's like 6.5 somewhere close to 6.5.
Yeah. We're down to 4, and we're down to 4, and we're going lower. And I don't see, from what I can see, I don't see the American interest rates dropping quick enough. And that's what the real issue. That's obviously the bigger issue being in the US. You've got to get your interest rates down. But to get your interest rates down, you've got to get inflation down. To get inflation down, you get rid of your tariffs. Because the only people paying the tariffs are the American people, not the companies.
Well, our administration doesn't believe that tariffs cause inflation. So I don't know where.
No, they don't believe it, but the rest of the world and everybody else does.
Yeah, I know. I don't,
That doesn't double.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just too much of a simpleton to understand how it's not causing inflation, but maybe I don't know. But there's some economists, and we'll get an economist on here. I'll get Spencer or Ryan or somebody to come on and talk through this. I don't understand how it's not, but someone can explain.
It actually is, though. I looked at the numbers last time when they came out, and it's like, I can't remember which way it is. I'm sorry, but it's like if you take out the core stuff, like washing machines, cars, that kind of thing, like those are actually going up in price. It's just the consumer goods didn't, and that's why the inflation rate held steady.
Yeah, I
But
know.
It is causing prices to rise. And
Yeah.
like, what is it? I can't remember which car company has a commercial that is like essentially says we're eating the tariffs so you don't have to pay them. And there are a lot of and then there are a lot of car commercials. Clearly, I watch too much TV at night for noise. Well, I have it on for noise, but that are like, we're made in America, blah blah blah, so there's like this whole like commercial enterprise that is behind making the administration's policies work. So, but we are seeing increases in prices on tech.
Oh, well, I would assume we would. Like electronics would make sense, right? Because a lot of
we were warned.
Yeah.
We were warned months ago that if the tariffs went into place, like what those, and some of, like, there's one I'm thinking of that it was 15% increase.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
So yeah, it's happening.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, I mean, we'll get to depreciate the extra cost. So,
Yeah.
there you go. I mean, that's nice that we get to depreciate that we had to spend that much, but that's okay. All right, let's talk about. I saw Deanie. I don't know who these crazy people are. This office conversion thing drives me batty. Like, people are doing office to multifamily conversions, which I think is brain damage. But then there's two like office to medical office conversions that I saw, and I know that's also brain damage because you're gonna have to change the elevators and you're gonna have to do like the floor plates sometimes don't make sense and all this other stuff, but they are doing them. There are these crazy people out there taking office buildings and converting them to medical offices. And it doesn't surprise me they're in the Northeast, but that's not going to become a fad, right, Deanie? That's not going to.
These are one-off deals. They get a lot of press, and I think it's more a reflection of the downturn on the office market and the vacancy in the office market than it being a viable alternative for medical. Landlords of office need to find something to do with the building, and so if you can do it at a cost and keep the rent down compared to building a new office medical building, you can try. But the problem is it's an expensive conversion. It's not just elevators and things. I mean, the whole plumbing system of a suburban or commercial office does not work for a medical building, and so you've got all kinds of problems with that. So it's a very unique deal. I've done a couple of them, and it's very unique. There's no way to say it's a fad, or you can go into a market and be general about it.
So this 100% bonus depreciation when you're doing something like this, does that spur on some of these conversions, right? Because it does sound like brain. I mean, you have the plumbing and for multifamily, and then I'm assuming medical office, you got sinks like everywhere, and you've got all these different, like all this water going all over the place in the building.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, you've got the water needs, you've got the sewage. It's unbelievable. And the other thing is floor plate height. Most commercial office buildings do not have the right floor plate height to work for medical. Medical has a bunch of stuff up above the ceiling, and you can't go into an office building and make it work. I mean, that's very unique. Very.
Yeah, that is super interesting. So, yeah, I don't know what we do with our office buildings that are vacant, but I think you just doze. I know I'm going to say this, and Paul's going to cringe. I think you just doze them and start over. But no, you can't do that because that's not sustainable. Because Paul Sheedy will shame you into oblivion because you're
Absolutely.
not using
How
the
dare you?
building.
Wash your meadow with soap immediately.
But what else do you do with them? So, I mean, I will say the office market is kind of a mixed bag over here. I mean, it's starting to come back. Everybody's talking about a recovery in the office buildings. You know, here in the U.S., they're starting to see a little bit of a renaissance. What's happening in the U.K., Mister? I'm on the boots on the ground over there.
What's happening here?
Yes.
It's a fairly stagnant market. The property market is slightly increasing, but really it's fairly dead. It's very little activity. It's overpriced. Interest rates are dropping low. The lenders are bending over backwards to try and get more and more people to come on board. But really, the truth is, I think it's overstretched. The only people buying now are foreign investors or people who've been left inheritance. Really, it's certainly not a first-time buyers market at all. Certainly, London is so overpriced right now that I can't see it coming back for a long time.
Interesting. What about so are you in, what other markets do you like? I know you go to China a lot. I know are you going to Dubai as well? Are there certain different because you're mostly in the office space for your tech, right? It's mostly
most of the tech we have is really just for office spaces. It's not
okay.
Really,
so you're going to MENA region, right? Dubai, Riyadh, those kinds of.
We're going out there. So I think I'm over there in late September. I'm over in Qatar because I got a fairly big opportunity over in Qatar, which we're gonna start looking into. Right now, most of my focus is actually China, just because of the partners we have over there.
Yeah.
So China, then Hong Kong, then actually I'm literally writing up right now new fire regulation policies for the Vietnamese on how we go from paper-based to digitalization of data, and how that data will then be manipulated into lower costs of running the buildings, etc. So we're writing that whole document up as we speak. Almost finished, and MENA is an area we'll probably look at properly opening up later next year.
Interesting.
It was like my first big step.
Yeah.
I did go into Saudi a few years back, so I have my fingers a little bit burnt. But that's just the way it is. But you live and learn. And we'll see. It's a great market. I mean, Saudi, Dubai, Qatar, the markets that have got huge growth levels.
And I mean, and office does well there because it's just a different culture, right? So shopping malls do really well in the MENA regions, right? Because that's where everybody goes to hang out because it's freaking hot outside. So they all go back in the 80s when we used to go to the mall, like walk around and meet your boyfriend and girlfriend. Like that's what we did. And so that's what's happening in the MENA regions. Everybody socializes in the malls.
There's nothing else to do. Just out or walk on sand. Sand gets quite boring after a while.
For sure. So malls are a big deal.
Oh, they're a huge deal. Have you been over there?
I have not, but I've been invited to go to Riyadh in November. So hopefully I'll
the malls are just absolutely mental. Yeah, absolutely mental.
Yeah. No, that's super cool. All right. So last topic we'll talk about is and it goes back to kind of the differences in what's happening, but this foreign investment, since we have in the U.S., the big, beautiful bill is that it should encourage more foreign investment back into the U.S. There was a big swift change in the last administration to this administration. I don't know how soon we'll see the money flooding back into the U.S. real estate market, but there's a favorable tax treatment if people do so. Deanie, are y'all taking any foreign money in any of your stuff? You're all like doing your own thing, right? You don't take any investors?
Not using foreign money at this point, but there are many on the medical side that are. And and it's increasing.
Yeah.
It's helping things along, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's flowing into the outpatient medical.
Is it? Yeah, I think it was. I remember this was before the last administration, but the U.S. commercial real estate was one of like the gold standards of investments, right? At one point, it was. If you looked around the world, it was the U.S. real estate market was one of the places where you wanted to be, right? And then we have this.
London.
Yeah, and then now it's so. I think it'll be. I think we'll get more folks flowing into multifamily, Chris. I think there'll be more once we get this, and that should help the real estate market. I think for all the things that we have to fight against, supply chain problems, higher prices, whatever, we can get a little bit of relief from money flowing into the market, and then also, this whole 100% bonus depreciation doesn't hurt, right? Doesn't hurt. Yeah. So, but I'm assuming this also means for the UK as well. Like there's people starting to look back at the US market, Paul?
I don't know. I think, honestly, I think the problem with the US market right now is there's too much uncertainty. Business hates uncertainty, and I think the orange fella is the epitome of uncertainty.
Yeah.
So I think credibility wise, he's got to sort of quickly get the dust to settle rapidly and show that he's done his little tantrum on the tariffs and all the rest, and actually here's where we're going to go. But until you can work out what's going to happen over there, I can't see America being a particularly attractive place to invest short term. I think longer term it will be, but
yeah,
again, your interest rates are very high, and that's I don't know where it's going. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, if your tariffs all kick in, your inflation goes high, and then gets back to normal rapidly in the next few months. Well, let's say 6 months from now, then great. But I think it's going to be probably 12-month problem for America, really.
Oh, probably. I think that they're not projecting any sort of interest rate decreases. And maybe not until we get a new Fed chair. I'm not sure. I mean, the word on the street is that it's going to kind of hover and stay where it's at, unless you're hearing something different.
Oh, I thought they were going to go down a quarter point at the next meeting. But maybe they changed their mind.
Did they forecast that? I don't know. I know they did a small one last meeting, but then I don't know if they forecast that, then that's great because that would be awesome. But
I can't remember where I read that or how long ago it was. So it might've been about the last meeting.
Yeah. So, I mean, but it's just this weird thing where prices are just being stubborn. Like some places they're decreasing and they're finally having to decrease. Like you're seeing decreases in housing and decreases in certain things. But on the commercial side, unless I'm wrong, Deanie, like I haven't seen the prices kind of adjust to where it makes sense. Is there still this gap between the sellers where they're trying to sell to and where the buyers need to buy at? Is there still that gap? Are you seeing it?
Still there. I think the only place where we're seeing, since I live in Southwest Florida, the condo market prices are coming down.
Yeah.
Now that's a function of insurance and some other things.
Right.
But clearly prices are coming down in the condo market.
Yeah, no, for sure. I find it, there was a story out, and this always surprises me, and I don't know why. Sometimes there's these stories talking about that don't make any sense. And also, I was talking about the 10 states that are going to receive the best bump from the new taxes from the OBBB. That's really odd. And Florida is one of them. You're going to get a big tax break, Deanie, because you live in Florida. So it's like, I don't know, like 40.
We need it. I need it. We need it.
I know. Do you know who's number one? Wyoming. Why Wyoming? Like I was reading this article and I was like, okay, this is interesting. Maybe I'll put this on the show. And it's talking these 10 states, and Florida's one of them, but it's really just all income driven. So if you have, some states have higher incomes, like if you're in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, you tend to have a higher income bracket. And so it's all based off your income bracket. And so therefore they're going to get a bigger tax rate, but it's all proportional. That's why this article is stupid. I was just like,
Is any of that about why? Because isn't Wyoming the least populous state? There are like 12 people that live there.
yeah, there's 12 people that live in Wyoming.
Yeah. Why they're there, nobody knows. But
I mean, well, they're skiing. It's Jackson Hole. Jackson Hole's very
I've
pretty.
been to Jackson Hole. It is beautiful.
It's beautiful. Yeah, but it seems like it was just all kind of income driven, like income. So if you're in this one county in Wyoming, apparently you make millions of dollars and therefore your tax break is going to be bigger. But proportionally, it might be it was the dumbest article. CNBC, that was a stupid article. I'm just saying out loud. Like, I don't understand. But apparently in Florida, you're going to get a bigger tax break because there's people who make more money in Florida, apparently. I don't know.
There's nothing wrong in that.
No. I think it should all be. Should be proportional, and that's totally fine. I mean, if you pay more in, you should get more back. Is what it is.
They're not paying more in.
Well, some are, some aren't. You're right. I know. If you're a real estate investor like Deanie and I, you don't pay taxes. Like, it's a cool
They've got
thing.
very good tax accountants.
Yes.
There's somebody
No,
else
but they've
watching
got
this
very
show.
good tax accountants.
Wait, remember, we can't talk about some things.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's all
no,
legal.
not with
It's all
Amy.
legal.
Amy's like behaving herself today. I think everybody should mark their calendars.
I know. It's very weird. I don't understand. No, but like real estate investors, like you use the legal loopholes, and you rarely pay taxes because you know what you're doing as a real estate investor. You should. Yeah, for sure. Got it.
Do you have an issue with oversupply over there?
Oversupply of what?
Of property, residential
No.
property.
No. Mm-mm. We still have a housing shortage. We still do. I don't know where. I still am amazed by this housing shortage. I'm like, where are all these people living? Like, are they all like doubled up with family? But no. Let's, Chris, am I wrong? Like, is the housing? I've been out of it for a little bit. Is the housing shortage still exist? It's still like hundreds of thousands of units still, right?
Yeah.
Or millions still?
Yeah, that's why they were projecting. That's why the starts this year are so high.
Yeah.
There's still a market for it.
I just like, it amazes me. Where are these people living? In the trees? Like, I don't know where they're living. If we have like, we're a
They're not living in
million.
tents in Washington any longer, are they?
Apparently.
Yeah, no, they're not.
They're all gone.
Not sure where they're living. I have no idea where they're
No, because
living.
you were mentioning about the issues in China, with the major constructors going on there, and some of the statistics are horrendous. I mean, there's over 4 billion square feet. I'm trying to convert meters into square feet because I know you have to move on to meters yet in America. You're still back in the imperial ages. So there's about 4 billion square feet of property unoccupied in China that's never been sold, and another over 4 billion in construction over there. So there's like 8 billion square feet of housing in China that literally is empty.
Oh, well, I've got an idea.
Go on. Put all the Mexicans there. Is that
that's
the idea, Amy?
We've got a homeless problem here. Like,
Did you just say that out loud?
I did say
Oh
that.
my!
I'm going
we can't say that.
double
We can't
hockey.
say
God.
No, but like, I'm not kidding. Like, we're not going to house them. It's horrific here. Like, we just
How good is the Chinese, all these people?
yeah.
How
and
good is the
so-
Cantonese?
Yeah. Well, they're hurdles.
Hey, they can make
hurdles.
iPhones. I got an idea. They can make iPhones for Apple, and then Trump will be happy because Americans.
Oh
are making
my
Yeah.
God! Y'all.
Okay, let's move on because we're getting very politically
This
incorrect.
show
now,
is
yeah.
Well, you and I are going to be living next door to each other in hell, just so you know.
in a tent in Washington.
Oh my Lord!
I just want to say I'm not
Anyways.
participating in this conversation. I want that on the record.
On the
Yeah,
record.
Beanie
On
still has a
the record.
reputation.
Oh my goodness gracious, y'all!
Anyway,
That's
but listen, this is why you've seen the likes of Evergrande, you've seen Country
Yeah.
Garden, all these guys going into huge issues. I think
So
I
was,
think
was this, can I stop you for a sec? So was this the Evergrande thing? And I didn't really understand it because I didn't really read up on it, but was it all subsidized by the government at some point? Was it public-private partnership or no? They just kept building, didn't look for the red flags, like just kept building, and then
Yep.
the money was just flowing. So they kept building.
Yep.
Interesting.
I mean, they have 300 billion in debt. They're coming off the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, I think, very, very shortly. Maybe it's even the next week or so.
Couple of days. Next couple of days.
But I actually visited Evergrande probably in 2019. I was with them, and this was a company that was literally like pumping. It was just, the plans were just unbelievable. And you got to remember, you got cities of 10 million people in China that nobody's even heard of. Okay, outside of China, huge cities that are just booming. I mean, absolutely booming. And I saw it there 2 weeks ago in Vietnam, where with Vinhomes, just vast amounts of high-rise buildings they're building. I mean, again, that's another company that's growing hugely, but in everything into cars and the rest. But again, a massive amount of debt, huge amount of debt. But these companies just ran, and the Chinese save so much money that they put it into property. And a lot of the people who put money into Evergrande on buying off plan, and that's gone. It's literally gone. Kiss goodbye to it.
I didn't understand what the fraud. I mean, so they just have a lot of debt, right? So they were building and then not paying attention to where their stuff was actually listing. It was all spec builds.
Exactly.
Interesting. Yeah. We learned our spec building days are over in the United States. I don't think we're spec building much anymore.
But the Irish did. I mean, in 2008, I think they built 30% more properties than there were people in Ireland. And I'm like, who are these analysts? Who are these analysts who don't go, this many houses, this many people? I mean, it's not that difficult. It's not, you don't need a PhD.
Well, I mean, you would think the first thing they would do is like determine their TAM, right?
Yeah, for sure, right? Like, I mean, there was sure some population growth estimates, but nothing crazy town. Like typically real estate investors tend to be conservative, but I will say we get a little more crazy when the money's flowing. Like 2021, when the money was flowing into multifamily back then, that was back in the heyday. Like you could people throw money at you and you didn't really have to prove your pro formas. Like it was just like, go build it. I need a deal. Oh, your IRR is 30%. I believe you. Okay, great. Here's money, right? And they just didn't check. Nobody was checking because there was FOMO of not being able to be inside of a deal. And the cap rates were compressing, so it made it easier. It's not like you were a super stellar performer. It was just, or operator. It's just a cap rate compressed, so your value went up, right? That was all that happened during 2021. Now I'm not saying Deanie was awesome. Like he did all of his stuff was great. He's a great operator, but there are some operators out there where real estate is very forgiving. And you can be a complete knucklehead and just catch the right cycle and make money. There was a lot of those people, and now they're all getting their butts handed to them, and they can't. Thank goodness, there's been a reset, right? But yes, that's the sad part about real estate. Sometimes is these investors get caught up in these cycles and get there's all those days. But the other thing too is, and I think we don't really say, and this will be the last thing I want to talk about is. Like this real estate recession or funkiness or stagnation or whatever the hell it is we're in, I still think we're in it for another year or so. I don't think that we get out of this, whatever this is, till like 2026. Is anybody hearing anything different? Or do we think it's kind of the same? I'm making you crystal ball.
I think we can suspend the show until 2026.
Yeah, it's going to be like this, right?
No, I think what's needed is a lot more common sense and a bit. I think the business plans and the analysis. I think it just needs a bit more, adults in the room really now, thinking longer term, thinking properly about what they're doing, and getting all the fundamentals right. I think the whole boom bust thing. I think everybody in property just getting a little tired of the boom and bust. I think it needs more stability.
Yeah, so what you're saying is we're screwed. If
Yeah,
you're
but
looking
I've been saying
for
that.
common sense, if you're looking for common sense and long-term thinking, I don't know where you're
Well,
going to
you
get
lot,
that.
you lot. of all people.
I know exactly. I mean, yeah.
So deluded.
No.
I don't know why I
Yes.
believe in you all.
There's
Anyway.
some. I think we weeded out a lot of the crazies. I think, well, maybe not
Yeah.
multifamily. I'm
No,
sorry.
every single time there's a boom, you get rid of the crazies. But you got to keep the crazies out. It's like, like Adam Newman, my arch nemesis. Like once you screw up at that level, just don't hear from him again. Don't know who you
I
get
know.
back into
He's
it again.
back. He's
Um,
he's back.
These things you got to learn from mistakes, and I think look, we
Yeah.
all need homes. You all need to live somewhere, so it's not like it's whatever. It's not like a foreign holiday where you can or can't go, but just needs a little bit more thinking. And I think I think fundamentally the Western government is going to wake up fairly rapidly that actually next 10, 20, 30 years, when you and I are all beginning to retire in 30 years time from now, if we're lucky, what is going to happen?
I'm working till I'm 100. I don't know what else to do.
Oh,
I
I
have
know.
to work.
I've already got 5G in my coffin, so it's all right.
That's good. That's good.
We've got a huge inbox in here for go to hell.
You got to get 6G in your coffin because that's what's next. 6G.
Yeah, I know. Seriously.
6G. All right. This has been fun. This is one of my most fun shows. Like I enjoy this. I enjoy this room. It's so much fun. All right, y'all. If somebody would like to get a hold of you, Chris, they want to put technology on their multifamily buildings. How can they do that?
You should reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm easy to find. Or Chris what is my email address? Chris at skbmsmarttech.com.
Very cool. All right. And Deanie?
D. Taylor at landmarkleadership.com.
Yep. If you're a hospital and you want to lease some office buildings, call Deanie. He's got them for you. And Mr. Sheedy, Paul.
ps@unify.id or LinkedIn.
Exactly. LinkedIn is the place.
LinkedIn.
This is the LinkedIn. I'm telling you, it is the place. Join the U.S. PropTech Council. I will say it again. Go to proptechcouncil.com, and we will see y'all next week. Thanks for coming on the show.
2 weeks, I'll be in France.
I know. You'll be back.
Oh, France, not London. You going to France?
Oh, no. Why would I go to London? Oh, no. They're raising taxes. I'm not going there.
Yeah, all right.
3 pints of Guinness for you. Okay, that's gone.
Just pay your tariff. Pay your tariff. That's what.
Come on, Paul. Pay those damn tariffs.
I'll pay my tariffs.
See you guys.
Deanie, good to see you again. Good to see you all.
seeing you.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.